Sheffield Eagles. With me this afternoon is Mick McGowan. He's come all the way from Sheffield to support his side, although Mick resides in Wakefield, and I've known Mick a long time, and we'll hear some of his special comments during the course of this game. Wakefield Trinity then riding on that magnificent victory midweek against Wigan at Central Park. Sheffield come here today hovering around the top 8 spots, so the 2 points vital to both sides. Sheffield to try and push themselves further into the top 8, and Wakefield Trinity to get well and truly clear of the relegation zone. And as Sheffield take the field, we'll go through the sides, and first of all Sheffield Eagles at full-back Mark Gamson, 2 Linton Stott, 3 Richard Price, 4 David Fraze, 5 David Plange, 6 Darryl Powell, 7 Mark Aston. The forwards then 8 Paul Broadbent, 9 Mick Cook, 10 Nick Grimolby, 11 Ian Hughes, 12 Bruce Maguire, 13 Anthony Farrell, and substitutes Tim Lum and Dale Lawton. Wakefield side this afternoon then Henry Paul, Richard Goddard at 2, he replaces Gary Christie, who took a very nasty knock against Wigan at Central Park on Wednesday. Andy Mason at 3, Adrian Flynn at 4, Andy Wilson at 5, Gary Spencer at 6, and Lee Hanlon still continuing in the scrum half role in the absence of Billy Conway. Forwards then David Hobbs, 9 Matt Fuller, Ian Marlowe at 10, Steve Durham at 11, Nigel Bell 12, Mike Forshaw at 13, and substitutes Curly Brown at 14 and young big Wayne McDonald at 15. Well, Mick, Sheffield Eagles come here then just outside of the top 8 spot. How do you see the game going today?
Well, I was talking early on, David. I think it'll be an open game. The Eagles have been playing outstanding football since the turn of the year. Put some excellent displays on. One or two disappointing results. You get beat by a point against Bradford and a couple of points against Sheffield, against Castleford. But and Wakefield as well are on a good roll. It's the first time we've seen Wakefield since they switched Paul to full-back and put Spencer up to stand off, so it's going to be a thoroughly entertaining and interesting game. I can see a lot of points being scored myself.
Well, we'll just see how that one goes. Henry Paul, as you say, is playing in the full-back role, and Gary Spencer, since he's moved to number 6, has had some absolutely outstanding games, and none better than the one at Central Park on Wednesday evening when all 13 played so well. So Mark Aston then we'll get this game underway. The referee today is Mr. Robin Whitfield. Came in for a lot of stick from John Dorahay, the Wigan coach, on Wednesday night. Although I didn't personally see anything wrong with Mr. Whitfield's performance, but we'll see how the young man goes today. So Mark Aston it is then that gets the game underway. It's a long kick downfield, and it's Henry Paul who picks up and passes to Forshaw. Forshaw, a try scorer at Central Park, and also made one for Gary Spencer, just coming back from injury. Last time he played was in October. Performed admirably, to say that he's been out of the game for so long. Matt Fuller then at acting half-back, uses Hobbs as the foil, and Bell takes it. Play just on the 20-metre line. Fuller still in at acting half-back. Durham it is this time. Charges in. Strong Sheffield tackling, 3 men round Durham then. Ball goes back to Hobbs. Tactical kicking from Hobbs was apparent on Wednesday evening. And Sheffield then first touch of the ball, and David Plange comes in field. This is Richard Price. Richard Price not missed a game this season so far, Mike.
No, he's been in outstanding form all season too. Terrific first division. Well, he's not an international, but he's one of those players that give outstanding service to any club. One of the players that clubs can't do without.
Good club man then, Richard Price. We'll look out for him. And this is Darryl Powell, the international. And we're on the 5th tackle. Sheffield Eagles will probably put the high ball up, and they have through Mark Aston, and it's gone to the left-hand side of Henry Paul and almost dropped it. Took it well on the run though. And Adrian Flynn continuing in the role of centre. Plays all his academy and alliance football in the second row, but got outstanding pace for a youngster. And David Topless continues to play him in the centre. Lee Hanlon, busy game at Central Park, and as we say, he continues in the scrum half role in the absence of Billy Conway. And Forshaw then just brought to ground, just a metre inside his own 20-metre area. Hobbs will take the long pass by Hobbs there, hit the deck, but fortunately bounced kindly for Richard Goddard. Richard Goddard, he comes in for Gary Christie. We're on the 5th tackle. Ball goes out, Lee Hanlon puts the kick downtown, splits the winger and the full-back, makes Stott go back to pick it up. Linton Stott just coming back from injury. He's well tackled by Flynn and by Spencer, and Price will take it from acting half-back, comes back inside Flynn. Cook feeds Broadbent, and Cook again in acting half-back, and this is Grimolby. Grimolby gets the ball away to Cook well in the tackle, and Hughes just can't manage to find a way through, but Cook again. Aston feeds Powell and feeds Farrell, and it's lovely play, feeds Price. Price uses Stott as the foil and goes into the 20-metre area on the 5th and last tackle here. Sheffield showing good skills early on. Powell just little grubber kick through, and Henry Paul lets the ball go dead. Little bit iffy there, but manages to just shepherd it into the dead ball zone. Runs quickly up to the 20-metre line and taps quickly, so nice little kick through from Daryl Powell, put Wakefield under pressure, Mick.
Yeah, and Henry Paul dicing with danger then, just one step away from giving 4 points there. If the Sheffield chase had just been one step closer, that would have been a 4-point try.
He'll probably say afterwards that he knew what he was doing all the time, but it certainly looked from a supporter's point of view that he'd made the wrong decision. Hobbs passes the ball back inside to Mason. And Fuller in at acting half-back and uses Durham, and Durham will drive centre field. No way through for Durham though, good tackling through Hughes. And through Maguire, and Maguire tries to chase Hanlon and stop him from kicking. Nice little neat kick, but well back by David Planche. David Planche took it well on the run. And it's a long ball out then. And this is Stott coming in off the wing looking for work. Richard Price seems to be doing his fair share of work, Mike.
He certainly does, and that's what Richard Price does consistently, has done throughout the season, but he's foraging, progressing the ball early in the tackle count from deep inside his own quarter, and he certainly gets the team on a roll and gets some space for his forwards to get some momentum going.
So Sheffield Eagles then through Aston, long ball, and that's Broadbent. Powell, superb play. Maguire looking for his men in support, but the knock-on's taken place. Just one pass too many, you could say. Wilson in off his wing, trying to look for some work. Hobbs goes into acting half-back. Henry Paul comes up, dangerous from anywhere on the field, this Henry Paul, only 19. Bags of experience for his years. Spencer then comes back inside, no way through. Maguire puts him to ground. Fuller in an acting half-back, and this is Forshaw. Forshaw has a tilt on the short side, looking to get the ball in the way in the tackle, but couldn't do so in this instance. Hanlon then does the run round with Hobbs, drops off Steve Durham. Steve Durham tackled by the big centre Fraze. We're on the 5th and last. Marlowe finds himself in acting half-back, and Hobbs will put the high ball towards Linton Stott. Linton Stott takes it with ease, and Andy Wilson's on hand to pull Stott down, bang on 20-metre line. This is Gamson from full-back coming into the line, and Farrell off Cook, who makes a charge and makes the half break, but Matt Fuller's back just to pull him down. 8 metres or so from the halfway line. Switch blind by Aston to Powell, and this is Price sidestepping, makes the break, looks for support, just couldn't quite get it away. Powell then in at acting half-back. Aston will move the long ball, and Sheffield just in a little bit of a rut in the centre of the field there, but it's fast and it's furious here in these opening minutes here at Bellevue. Aston puts the stab kick down towards the right hand corner flag as we look, and comes to rest a couple of metres from the flag, but the scrum will form just 10 metres in, 10 metres from the line.
5 minutes gone, David, and that's only the second stoppage in the game. So these players, if they keep this pace up, are going to find it a long 40 minutes to half time.
Yes, and as we were saying earlier, Mick, just before the game started, we're having a little discussion, and as Spencer knocks on, we'll just elaborate a little bit more on it. We discussed that Wakefield had a very tough fixture at Central Park, Wigan, on Wednesday evening. Do you think that if the game is as fast and furious as this, that will have some effect on the game?
I certainly think, and I think it'll be detrimental more to Wakefield than to Sheffield, because Wakefield have got so many props on the field.
So Fraze then comes in off Powell, and Cook is in at acting half-back, and Cook's just dancing and weaving, and finds Hughes, and Hughes just turns in the tackle, but just didn't have any support there. Farrell's in at acting half-back, long ball Aston. Aston will feed Broadbent. Broadbent, just couldn't quite get it away to Powell. I feel that had the ball have been slipped to Powell, it would have been a try. There was nobody supporting, nobody there to tackle Powell, should I say. And Cook runs across field, but the defence is there this time, and Hanlon in very tigerishly pulls him to ground. So still on the short side, Powell. Powell feeds Gamson. Gamson is held on his back. Almost looked as if Gamson had made the ball free to be put down over the line, but superb defence there from the Trinity defenders, and they pulled Gamson on his back. So an early chance for Sheffield, but good defence from Wakefield, mate.
Yeah, terrific play from Paul then. He took Gamson and wrestled him to the ground, but kept his body underneath and denied the score. But the Eagles still in good position and playing some excellent football. Good ball movement.
Yes, and they've certainly controlled the first few minutes of this first half, and Price will sidestep and come back inside. And that's Powell, and Powell feeds Aston. And Aston will score the first try of the game. Superb play from Sheffield Eagles from that scrum. So early pressure from Eagles had to tell. Powell came across, dropped Aston back inside, and Aston went the 25 metres to the line, Mick.
Yes, Mark Aston been in good goal scoring form as well since Christmas. And showed a nice turn of pace then. Just saw the line open up and put his foot on the pedal and accelerated over.
It's a chance to just nudge Sheffield a little bit further in front, and he has done. Just tagged on the extra 2 points from the conversion to his try. 6 points to 0 in Sheffield's favour. And in fairness, all the pressure has been from Sheffield, but this is how it basically started at Central Park, Wigan, on Wednesday. Immense pressure from the home side, Wigan, but Wakefield came back strongly. Will they do that this afternoon? So Sheffield take the ball well from the kick-off, and it was Hughes driving his way towards the 20-metre line as Grimaldi will try and just take a few more yards upfield, and Cook will feed Broadbent 30 metres out. Sheffield then coming back this side through Maguire. Maguire tackled strongly by Fuller and by Marlowe. And it's Powell who charges and sees Durham there and takes him on and almost gets clear. So we're on the fifth and last tackle, bang on halfway line, centre field. Aston with the ball. Punch kick downfield. Henry Paul will take it. I'm sure Sheffield will have done their homework on this young man. Very strong, very elusive in broken play. As Richard Goddard comes in off the wing, helps his forwards out, makes a good 5-6 metres. Fuller to Flynn. And Fuller again in at acting half-back. And Marlowe uses the foil, and Forshaw runs straight at the heart of the Sheffield defence and gets the ball away in the tackle to Marlowe. Marlowe just tries to bring play up towards the halfway line, but there's 3 Sheffield players round him. Powell's one, Broadbent and Aston the other 2. Durham feeds Hobbs, long ball out, Spencer. Spencer comes back inside, gets the ball away, Hanlon. Hanlon a little step, goes across field. Will he straighten up? Yes, he is. Hanlon makes the clean break. He's got Mason on his outside. Mason gets the ball. Can't get it away to the support. Superb break from nothing from Lee Hanlon. The ball kicked through at the tackle, so the tackle count will be wiped clean. Wakefield coming back into the Sheffield 20-metre area. The first form of pressure from Wakefield in this game so far, as Fuller drops off Paul. So we're just 12 metres from the Sheffield line now, and that's Forshaw driving it through. Wakefield easing the way up towards the Sheffield line. Hanlon will take the ball, first receiver, another sidestep from Hanlon. Oh, individual brilliance at its best there from the little scrum half. Just feinted to pass out towards the left-hand flank as we look. A little sidestep, rounded his man and just went over 8 metres or so to the left-hand post as we look. But 2 scintillating breaks from Lee Hanlon in the past minute, Mike.
So Henry Paul to equal the scores. 15 minutes gone. A shimmy, and he just sneaks that inside the left-hand post, and that's 6 apiece down.
It certainly is, so we're in for an entertaining game. Mick earlier on said that there will be quite a few points scored in this game. It's left to be seen. I think it'll be tight at the end. But Wakefield Trinity have come back. All the pressure in the first 10 minutes from the Eagles. First try through Aston and converted his own try, but this time Lee Hanlon 2 tremendous breaks, one from the halfway line that went deep into the heart of the Eagles defence, and the second one from first man, lovely little sidestep round Anthony Farrell, just puts the ball neatly down over the line, and Henry Paul tags on the extra 2 points. 6 apiece here at Bellevue. Stones Bit of Championship Sunday afternoon clash. Lee Hanlon, try scorer, feeds Forshaw. Hobbs in it, acting half-back. Hanlon feeds Paul. Paul will step. Tackled well, though, by Broadbent. Fuller feeds Marlowe. Wakefield a little bit more urgency in the play now. Seem to be coming with some confidence, Wakefield, as Durham brushes off Maguire. And Fuller will go into acting half-back. Robin Whitfield taking Sheffield back the regulation 10, encourages teams to play football. Hanlon steps again, but this time doesn't get away from Hughes, and there's 4 Sheffield Eagles players round him. Spencer, Henry Paul shaped up as if the little chip over the top was going to take place. It didn't. Sheffield closed him down. Hobbs this time will put the kick downfield, and it looks a good chase. Nearly all of the Wakefield side up in one line. It's a good chase, and Plange really got nowhere to run. Excellent chase, Mike, from the Wakefield chasers. Yeah,
good set of 6 then for Wakefield, good finish. Nowhere, for, as you say, for David Plange to go. Just had to try and burst the line, didn't do so.
So Wakefield seem to have picked up their game, and certainly after the first 10 minutes all been Sheffield. But Wakefield have come back into it, 6 points each here at Bellevue, and some entertaining football shown by both sides early in this first half. Grimaldi then just loses his footing as he comes towards Forshaw, makes the tackle easy for Mike Forshaw. Farrell charges, but the combination of Marlowe and Durham bring him to ground. And we're on the 5th and last tackle, and Aston's in the position to step. 2 players, Fuller and Durham, puts the ball between the winger and full-back, and Goddard it is that will take the ball. Nice little sidestep, but can't get away from Maguire. Richard Goddard just coming back from injury, the groin operation. Henry Paul from acting half-back seems to be more explosive when he's running with the ball rather than taking it stud. Hanlon just running at the Sheffield line, drops up Adrian Flynn. Fuller will feed Durham this time, coming up the short side. Durham normally plays prop forward, but in a rich vein of form in the second row. And Hobbs feeds Hanlon. Hanlon twists and turns. Looks as if the ball might speed out towards the far touchline side as we look. Hanlon had to check and come back inside. Henry Paul puts the kick down. Another good chase, and Gamson takes it superbly on the half bounce. Aston feeds Price. Price runs across field, almost gets away, ducking under Nigel Bell, and Gary Spencer still coming down short side. Grimaldi Cook in acting half-back, Aston, long ball, Powell. Powell will feed Hughes. But strong tackling from Forshaw. Aston again. Aston drops off Cook. Cook will feed Powell. Sheffield keeping the ball alive. It's Powell again. And it's David Plange coming down the far touchline side. Breaks into the 20-metre area of Wakefield. We're on the 5th and last tackle. Darryl Powell looks back towards short side. Puts the high ball up and it's a chase through. Henry Paul will pick it up. Just a little nudge forward though from a Sheffield player. Had he taken that, Mike, it could have been a try.
Yeah, Mike Aston put a good chase on and a good jump, but Goddard's gotten broke. And it's a straight lace, stop the chase. Fuller's in support. Oh, excellent play, Linton Stock. And Richard Goddard making the fatal mistake of looking back at the tackler, David.
Certainly did, but oh, it's Flynn breaking through, and this time nobody will catch Adrian Flynn. Oh, that's a nice try from the young centre. But we'll just go back to the first break, Mike. Richard Goddard stormed through on the 20-metre line, and Richard's no slouch, but Linton Stock cut him down just, well, within, he was taking sort of 10 metres out of Richard over 25, so, and he tackled him really well. I think Richard, once he saw Linton Stock coming, he looked for support, Mike.
Well, you should never look back at people that are chasing you. They were looking for support, and he wasn't actually looking for support, he was looking at the man that was coming in for the tackle. And that's a mistake that someone of Goddard's experience shouldn't be making. Been playing rugby league long enough not to do that. Pin your ears back and go as far as you can, and if you want your support, drift across field to your support.
Yes, and in fairness to Richard, just come back from injury, had a groin operation. We don't know if that's affected his pace or not, but Linton Stock, all credit to the man, cut him down rather quickly and almost made the try-saving tackle, but couldn't stop Flynn in fine flight there towards the line. So Marlowe then, centre field on the 30-metre line. Fuller in acting half-back, will feed Durham. Durham, oh, lovely short ball to Forshaw, just couldn't quite get away though. Newfound confidence in the Trinity ranks over the last few weeks, whether it's due to the arrival of David Hobbs, I'm not sure. Sheffield knocked the ball down in the movement there, and Robin Whitfield waves the play back to 0 tackles. And Forshaw doing a lot of work, Mike Forshaw. Feeds Hanlon. Hanlon looking to get Marlowe away. Hanlon makes a dart from acting half-back. Feeds Durham, so it's all Wakefield at this moment in time. From early pressure from Sheffield Eagles, I would say they had the first 10 minutes. The latter 15 minutes have gone to Wakefield. Sheffield finding it difficult to contain the rampaging forwards of Trinity. Ball through to Flynn. But Flynn clamped by Grimmelby, and I think it was Cook, and it's the last tackle, and Hobbs will run through, gets the ball away to Marlowe. Marlowe puts the ball up in the air. This will be taken by Aston, under pressure I may add, and Aston takes it superbly, goes towards his opposite number, Hanlon, took the ball well under pressure there.
Yeah, now he took his eye off it, never moved, under severe pressure from Marlowe, and come up with a good run. If it had just linked in there, that might have been a 6-pointer, because the Wakefield defence had really got lost.
Yes, it was split by the chasers there, and as you say, had support been there for Aston, it could have been a long-distance try. However, both sides playing excellent rugby. We've seen a fine spectacle of rugby league this afternoon here, as Aston moves across and feeds Hughes, and feeds Gamson that links in the line. The ball goes to ground though, but Sheffield Eagles, I'm going to say Sheffield Eagles scored a beautiful try, which I saw against Oldham, and seems to have found a new lease of life, as all the Sheffield players have, since Gary Etherington's taken over the role of chief coach again. And Spencer makes a break. Spencer's gone through, he's seen Mason. Oh my goodness, Gary Spencer had Andy Mason on the outside. It had try written all over it. Spencer, for some reason, and I don't know, we'll have to ask him later why he didn't pass the ball to Andy Mason. I don't know. We'll discuss it later, Mike, when the move breaks down. But here we have Matt Fuller coming through Fuller will try and break the Sheffield defence on this left-hand side as we look. Fuller just loses his footing there. Lee Hanlon will kick the ball through. But Gamson picks up for Sheffield, but can you just shine a little bit of light on that for me, Michael?
Not at all, it's just one of those things. Gary Spencer's one of the most experienced players in the Wakefield ranks. And why you wouldn't pass to Gary Mason when he's free with 30 yards to go and no defence? Gary Spencer couldn't answer it for you, certainly I can't.
Andy Mason it is as well, Mike, not Gary Mason. We accept your apology there. But a certain try went begging, and at 10 points to 6, it would have been a welcome thing for Wakefield. The 4 points, and you never know, it may have gone under the sticks as well. So I feel that's a let-off for Sheffield Eagles, as Aston has to put the ball downfield. Richard Goddard, it is the man that will collect, takes it well, looks across and dummies to Henry Paul, tries to get some yardage into the Sheffield half, but well tackled. 3 Sheffield Eagles players around him. Gary Spencer this time passes the ball to Henry Paul. And Hobbs will take the role of acting half-back, and Marlowe will charge. Good tackle though from Mark Aston. And Fuller in at acting half-back. Hobbs uses Flynn as the foil. Hanlon feeds Forshaw, ball over the top. Goddard stops, comes back inside, didn't want to risk being bundled into touch. Certainly end-to-end stuff here at Bellevue. And Forshaw gets away and comes back inside, gets the ball away. Durham this time gets the ball away to Mason, and Mason just knocks on. So the tackling from Sheffield Eagles is a little bit shoddy around that play. The ball, Forshaw should have never been allowed to get away from that area, Mike.
Yeah, there's one or two players out to lunch in the Eagles line. No disrespect to Wakefield, they're playing some terrific stuff, but 2 or 3 players have gone through the line with too much ease for me. They've just simply picked the ball up and gone straight through. So needs a bit of communication, a bit of talking going on in the Eagles ranks. And who is it that's down? Is it Goddard that's down?
Yeah, I think it's Richard Goddard. So you think that that's going to be on the agenda for Gary Etherington as he puts his lads through the half-time rollicking?
I'm sure there needs some communication getting together, because 1 or 2 players are just going up in chasing shadows and not taking men, and Wakefield players just coming straight through the line. It's very unusual for the Eagles defence.
And at this level of football, you can't afford to give anybody any room, as Powell comes across the field, feeds Fraze almost gets away, but good tackling from his opposite. Oh, so it's Henry Paul rather, and that's Cook coming, taking the ball, first man. Price in it, acting half-back, feeds Aston. And that's Broadbent, rather lazily lets the ball go away in the tackle. Wakefield almost gained possession from that. Hughes can't get the ball away, no support for him. So Aston will feed Maguire. Maguire gets the ball back inside, and Grimaldi drops the ball. So plenty of mistakes from the Eagles. Wakefield Trinity will welcome the possession. So Fuller will throw a long ball out. Lee Hanlon stops. No way for Lee Hanlon to go this time. Looked a little bit disappointed, Lee Hanlon, there as he was running across the field. Didn't have any runners. Forshaw, this is a lad that'll certainly run. He's come back well from injury, Mike Forshaw. Durham goes into the tackle, gets rid of the ball. Nigel Bell held though by Powell and by Farrell. And Fuller feeds Hobbs, misses Hobbs out. Look, long ball to Henry Paul, picked up by Grimaldi. Henry Paul just tried to trickle the ball through on the floor and collect, but just managed to get stuck. And Grimaldi was there to pick it up. Maguire runs across, feeds Farrell. It's a bit shabby football from Sheffield Eagles, I must say, at the moment, Mike.
Well, it's not quite connecting. They've played some good football, David, all told. Just like that bit of continuity when it's got to third man in possession in the line. Here we go again, the ball's moved, transferred quickly across the line, and Richard Price going back inside. I'm sure the Eagles will start connecting to keep the ball moving.
They've certainly shown the signs that they can do it. It's just at the moment it just looked a little bit shoddy. That's all I was saying, not taking anything away from the way the Eagles have been playing so far. They've really contributed to a good game of rugby league football this afternoon. Mark Aston chips the ball over the top. Henry Paul takes it over his line. The game will restart from the 20-metre line. Henry Paul runs up again, very quickly gets the game back in motion. Henry Paul feeds Bell, although I must say it was a thank you very much pass. And Nigel Bell unceremoniously dumped down to the ground by Powell. And Marlowe will take the ball short side. And Fuller in at acting half back and feeds Forshaw, done a lot of work. Mike Forshaw certainly set a good example to the rest of the Wakefield forwards, Mike Forshaw, this afternoon. Hobbs looks to get the ball back inside, but the gap closed up very quickly and there was no room for Durham to come through and support him. Hanlon will go straight and feeds Mason. Mason gets the ball back to Hanlon. No runners for Hanlon, but he takes the Sheffield defence on. This time Hanlon's looking for support, but Gamson comes across, so Lee Hanlon so far, Michael, causing Sheffield some problems.
He's playing very well. He's not taking the ball up to the line, he's just easing off, looking for the hole and accelerating through it, and he's done it exceptionally well.
He certainly has, and everybody raving about how well Billy Conway's been playing in the number 7 role over these last few weeks, and here we have Lee Hanlon in a rich vein of form also, so it's going to be a terrible selection nightmare for David Topless when both players are fully fit. So Cook then will feed Broadbent. Good tackling by Mike Forshaw. And Sheffield through Aston come back this short side. Powell gets the ball away. Price runs across, tries to find an opening, lets the ball go to Broadbent, long ball. Fraze takes the pass, but Richard Goddard comes in off the wing, takes in man and ball. Gamson from acting half back. We're on the 5th and last tackle. About 32 minutes of this first half gone. 10 points to 6 in Wakefield's favour then, as Aston punches the ball down towards the Wakefield line. It's going to sit up, I believe, and Mason will have to play that. So a well-weighted kick there from Mark Aston. Mason had to go all the way back to play it. Lee Hanlon feeds Henry Paul from acting half back, and Henry Paul comes across field, and it looked for a moment as if the gap had opened up for Henry Paul, but the experienced figure of Darryl Powell was there just to bring him to ground.
He's obviously established himself as a favourite very quickly, Henry Paul, because every time he gets the ball there's a buzz in the Wakefield spectators.
There certainly is. They're on the toes all the time, Mike. I see it week in and week out, and you've probably read in the press and seen on other videos how well this young lad can play, and it's no wonder that John Mooney signed him for the Auckland Warriors. He certainly is a crowd pleaser. So the last tackle then, Hobbs will boot the ball downfield, and it'll go to Linton Stott, and Linton Stott got exceptional pace and goes straight towards Ian Marlowe, the big mountainous figure of Ian Marlowe, and he puts him down to the ground, almost a David and Goliath class. And this time it's Cook. Cook will be tackled and not allowed to get the ball away in the tackle by Andy Wilson, and Adrian Flynn. Aston will push the ball away to Broadbent and takes it on the run around. Hughes will drop off Price, and this is good movement by the Eagles. Aston still getting the ball away, Grimaldby. So the score still remains 10 points to 6, nothing in the game. Sheffield through Aston, long ball, Maguire runs across field, Farrell on the drop off. Farrell gets the ball away, Price, and still the movement keeps going, and it's Stott goes down the touchline side, comes back inside, feeds Maguire, long ball inside. Fuller did exceptionally well there, took the ball from the pass by Maguire, fed Henry Paul, almost all in one movement. Forshaw then, well, it's end-to-end stuff, Mike. It's fast and it's furious.
It's what's happening is Wakefield are working their way upfield and putting a kick in, then Sheffield are throwing everything into attack, keeping the ball alive and asking all the questions of Wakefield's defence, and Wakefield, apart from that Aston try, have answered all the questions.
Yes, the defence is certainly very tight at the moment. As Fuller moves in, acting half back, Hanlon, long ball, Spencer just Caught a little tap in the face by Maguire, nothing intentional in that. Spencer sidestepped, just caught the flat of the hand, I feel, as Hanlon puts the ball downfield and bounces awkwardly for Gamson. Gamson losing his footing as well, which allows 4 Wakefield players to come up and take him, doesn't allow him to make much yardage. Cook in at acting half-back. Linton Stott will take it first man. Not much room for Linton Stott either there. Spencer takes him alongside Marlowe. Fraze comes in field looking for the ball. Not seeing much of it out on the centre. Cook, feed Aston coming across, long ball, Powell. Powell, oh, unlucky Powell, held the ball off, showing the ball to the Wakefield defenders and almost created the opening there for Price. Aston goes through, shows the dummy and gets it to Price. Price will run across and feeds Stott. The ball over the top, Stott kicks forward and it's a chase cleanly to the line, and Stott, lovely try from Stott. But Aston came through, Mike, showed the ball, gets the ball away to Powell. He in turn feeds Price, and Price the ball over the top to Powell. To Stott. Stott the little chip over the top, almost looked as if he was going to be impeded, but won the chase to the line, Mike. Wednesday night the game was fast and furious, and for 25 minutes in that second half Wigan piled all the pressure on, but those 3 lads held out as well, so maybe that would have something to do with it, as you said earlier, Mike, but we'll have to wait and see. You think there's going to be a lot more points scored. I think it's going to be closer than people think. 10 points each at the moment. I think it's a fair reflection on the game. As Farrell tries to break out of the 20-metre area and almost gets by Durham. So 10 points each. Enthusiasm for the crowd here. Both sides played superb rugby league football, and we've seen some superb tries, although I must say that Wakefield Trinity should be in the lead by at least 4 points, possibly 6 points, when we remember that Gary Spencer had Andy Mason on his outside and clear and failed to make the pass. So it's Sheffield Eagles breaking again down this side out, coming to position. Hughes, a barnstorming run by Hughes. Powerhouse play from the second row forward. Aston goes short side and he'll encourage Stott to chase the ball. Henry Paul underneath it, takes it this time, but Stott's there to pull the man down only a metre from his own line. So it's Sheffield Eagles now that have got Wakefield Trinity under the cosh. As we say, the first 10 minutes definitely belong to Sheffield. The next 20 belong to Wakefield, but certainly in these last 5-10 minutes or so, Sheffield have picked the game up. And 10 points apiece, Mike, is a fair reflection on the first half so far.
Certainly is. Both sides have played good football. Lee Hanlon's had a tremendous game for Wakefield, and the Eagles have, as a combined unit, have moved the ball about with great purpose.
So Marlowe then just trying to make those valuable yards upfield and try and get away from the danger area as Fuller takes the kick from acting half-back. And Gamson will take the ball and come forward for Eagles to a shout from his supporters. And Lee Hanlon there just dragging Gamson back, and I feel that he was rather lucky and not to be penalised for that. Robin Whitfield just saw it. But good play from the referee, Mike, allowing play to continue and not stop the game for little penalties.
Absolutely. It could have been penalised though, could handle a little bit of unprofessionalism. But Robin Whitfield just not taking any notice, and we still got the game going.
He allowed play to continue at Central Park, and all the 13,000 or more supporters that saw that game will certainly own up to it being a classic. And Robin Whitfield has certainly let the game flow this afternoon here at Bellevue. And as we hear the half-time siren, 10 points each, as we've said, a fair reflection on the game. Both sides played some superb football. It was Mark Aston that set the scoring off with a try, and he converted his own try. Wakefield hit back with that little try from Hanlon and the goal from Henry Paul. Adrian Flynn was the next scorer. 10 points to 6 was the score. Linton Scott, he just managed to chase his kick with the kick over the top, managed to score the try in the corner. Aston failed. 10 points apiece at half-time, and as we say, a fair reflection on the game, and we look forward to a very entertaining second half, and we'll see you shortly for that.
For the second half, both teams on 10 points, 2 First Division points up for grabs. Henry Paul gets us off, and Wakefield Trinity looking for those 2 points to secure their place in the First Division next season, and the Eagles looking for the 2 points to maintain a top 8 spot. So everything to play for. And what do you think? Any tactical change would have been made by Wakefield at half-time, David?
I mean, at the moment, I would have said leave things as they are. I think forwards and backs are combining well, certainly from a Wakefield point of view. When they've had the ball, they're throwing it about well, and the forwards are tackling well and strongly. So at the moment, I'd just say, you know, let's keep things as they are. But if we're getting to try scoring chances, let's look for our support.
A reference, of course, to that Richard Goddard slip-up in the first half. In the meantime, the Eagles have come up with a mistake, and Trinity in good position early in this set. Fraze takes Mason down. Brown looks to break. Had a big game at Don Valley, did Paul Brown. Scored 2 vital tries. Hobbsy moving the ball across field. That's pitch and put. Spencer picks it up, second bounce, adds on to Durham. Durham onto Hanlon. Hanlon almost tackled by Nigel Bell. 4 shot, I should say. Hobbs going for the drop goal, and you could see that lining up all the way, and that puts the Wakefield back in front just 2 minutes into the second half. Well, dropped many important goals as David Hobbs in his career, David.
Yes, he has, and it could be that none more important than this one today if the score stays as it is. But one of the major roles is get down into your opposition's 20 metres and at least come away with a point, and that's what David Hobbs did there, because Wakefield, certainly for the last 2 of their allotted 6, were looking a little bit scrappy. So David Hobbs just settled it down, sorted it out, set himself up for the drop goal and takes a point.
Paul feeds 4 short. 4 short, tackled by Farrell. Durham. Quick challenge from Darryl Powell brings Durham down. Eagles not playing any secondary defence when they're up in Trinity quarter. This is Paul will step. No, sorry, it's not Paul, it's Fuller. Oh, that's a good tackle from Mark Aston. Allowed Hanlon no room. Perhaps the Eagles have talked about that at half-time, not allowing Hanlon to dictate playing anyway. 35 metres out. Mr. Whitfield having a long discussion with both scrum halves, Aston and Hanlon. Oh, and that's one against the head. And David Hobbs showing his experience there. This is Brown in a gap. Good tackle, Mark Gamson. Well, book that down to David Hobbs' experience. He raked that back like an elephant picking a bun up out of a pastry tray. So again, Trinity in good position. Hanlon out to Paul. Paul tries to spin. Anthony Farrell keeps an eye on him. Durham. Tackle just 5 metres out. This is Fuller. Late ball to Hobbs. Hobbs hands on to Marlowe. He finds 4 short steps. Big defence from the Eagles then. Last tackle. Well, you don't know what Durham was doing then, acting half-back. It certainly didn't look tidy, and it didn't look well thought out. And it ends up with Flynn putting the ball dead. So again, Trinity coming up with a nice bit of play there. David, I don't know if you noticed that, just raked that ball out of the Eagles' second row.
Yes, as we were saying earlier, that it's a 50-50 chance when you go down to the scrums. You said, I tend to think it's a little bit more 70-30, but Hobbs really showed his experience then from the old days when scrum halves were meant to put the ball straight down the middle of the scrum. And Hobbs, as you say, certainly raked that ball, and Wakefield took advantage of it. A good set of 6 in the Sheffield 20.
In the meantime, the Eagles coming out well. 3 tackles bring them right up to Wakefield's 40 line. Aston dummies, turns the ball back into Powell, and he's well tackled by, would you believe, Nigel Bell. Mark Gamson goes off for a sortie. He's tackled by Fuller. Last tackle. Aston puts the ball up against the grain. Wilson underneath, takes it cleanly, and is tackled by Stott. This is Henry Paul working the ball away, and a good tackle from Bruce Maguire. Put a big shoulder right on Henry Paul's chest then and knocked him on his backside. This is Hanlon again, drifting across field. Paul Brown underneath Maguire's tackle, working his way in that obstruction. I often wonder if that deserves a penalty. Mason wasn't doing anything with any great intent then. He was just coming up for the ball. Just a misunderstanding from Brown and Mason, and they ended with a goal kick for Mark Aston there.
Yeah, the difficulty arises though if you let play go on and Brown slips through. If Brown slips through and goes 70 metres and scores a try, and Mason's deemed to have obstructed one of the tacklers from getting to him, then obviously questions will be asked as to why Robin Whitfield didn't pull it back for shepherding. But certainly in that instance he was well covered, was Brown. But the initiative has been given towards Sheffield, and Aston's got the chance to put his side in the lead.
What I'm saying, David, is do incidents like that deserve a kick at goal?
Well, it's a penalty, Mike, and you know, how do you differentiate from one penalty from another?
You don't have him kick at goal. There goes Aston, looks good. Oh dear. Well, Mark Aston's thought he'd kicked the goal.
Well, I mean, I would have thought that touch judges should stand behind the 2 posts, one on each post. Both touch judges were stood smack in the middle. Both of them looked at each other. It was something out of a comic book strip, and Robin Whitfield had to give no goal.
So Eagles again attacking, moving the ball wide. Anthony Farrell tackled this time by Forshaw and Spencer. Bruce Maguire on the short side. Oh, my word, if Stott had taken that one, it had been on the outside at full pace. So, incident packed. First 10 minutes in the second half. And the Eagles making a change. Hughes going off. And Dale Lawton coming on. It's Dale Lawton's first game for a long time. Injured in that midweek game at Wigan, way back in November. And again, Mr. Whitfield brought 2 captains together. He also has Broadbent and Hanlon there. I don't know what that was about, David.
Fiery little character, this Lee Hanlon. He's at the hub of everything, just as he was at Central Park on Wednesday. Kept Sean Edwards quiet, and certainly those 2 scrum halves, Aston and Hanlon, having a real battle today.
In the meantime, Gary Spencer takes the ball from the scrum, just stepped inside Darryl Powell, but Anthony Farrell and Bruce Maguire were sweeping up, coming across. And that looked like a forward pass from Fuller. Marlowe running into some heavy Sheffield traffic. Hanlon again takes a ball. And again, the Eagles up very quickly. And Hanlon this time having a tete-a-tete with Anthony Farrell. Plunge, takes that ball, turns, shows the ball out to Mark Gamson with then slips. This is Dale Lawton with his first touch of the ball. Oh, and that's good power. Good secondary effort from Dale Lawton, made a good 10 metres after the initial tackle. And the chant of Eagles, Eagles comes up as the drummers get going. Developing a good travelling support, the Eagles. So the Eagles stacking up wide on their left. Here goes the ball. Aston has Gamson coming. Gamson comes, straightens up. And Bobs did very well just to hold Gamson up. But this is Aston on the break. He has Powell. Powell's got Fraze. Fraze dummies. Powell again. This is third time in the movement. Oh, good continuity from the Eagles. Good ball movement. Good support. Got the defence stretched. What will Aston do? Well, that's a good kick. Wilson will be tackled under his own post. What a good set from the Eagles. Finished off well with a superb kick from Aston.
Yeah, superb kick from Aston. He always puts pressure on the defenders when the ball struck firmly and very close to the ground. The defender has to go low, but Sheffield Eagles set up well for that attack, lying deep, and Darryl Powell featured 3 or 4 times in that move. Good handling move from Eagles, but good defence from Wakefield, and the game's still alight from that first half performance from both sides. Both teams carrying it on early in this second half, and the score 11 points to 10. Mike, I remind you that I said that the score would be low. You said there would be a lot of points in it, and I certainly don't think there will.
Well, you may be right, David. Dale Lawton again breaks the line. Oh, was unlucky there. Just couldn't quite retain the ball. This is Nigel Bell working his way out from his own quarter. Forshaw this time. Hands one on to Paul. Paul steps inside Aston, but Grimaldi sweeps him up. Third tackle, says Mr. Whitfield. Short side break from Hobbs. Plans put a big shoulder on Mason then, but Mason rode the tackle very well. Eventually tackled by Dale Lawton. Non-stop football from both sides. Here goes the ball again. This is Forshaw. Hands off to Spencer. Spencer over the top to Paul, and this will be a restart. Well, I'm not sure Paul knew that there was six again. He tried the little toe through. That's one of the features of Paul's play, is that little toe through.
Yeah, it is, but obviously he didn't see that Robin Whitfield had waved the tackle count back to 0. Otherwise, I'm sure Henry Paul wouldn't have kicked that ball. But was he impeded is the question.
Yeah, touch of a late tackle. Mr. Whitfield having none of it. Call play on. Dale Lawton with the ball again. And again gets away from that first tackler. Mick Cook eventually gets the ball to Aston. Aston to Fraze. Plunge on the outside. Good tackle from Wilson. From Brown, I should say. Aston onto Powell. Powell steps, straightens up. Last tackle. Again, the Eagles making good progress upfield. Moving the ball about. Aston again towards this one against the grain. And Brown, Allen has to play the ball over the dead ball line. Well, scrambling well, Wakefield. Eagles moving the ball about and finding the gaps, but Wakefield scrambling well.
Yes, and obviously Wakefield on Wednesday, they scrambled well against Wigan, and it seems to be following the same vein. Tremendous pressure from Sheffield at the moment. Wakefield riding the storm.
So, Gamson trying to work the ball in. Aston this time onto Grimaldi, who gets a bit of a roll on. He's tackled by Nigel Bell. Well, an untidy play the ball from Grimaldi. Again, Aston floats the ball out to Powell. Powell coming inside. And this time it's Marlowe that drags Powell down. Richard Price turns Fraze inside. Last tackle, again the Eagles have worked the ball right upfield. Just 15 metres from the line. Aston this time goes to the air. It's a chase, it's anybody's to chase, and that could be a try. It is! It's Paul Broadbent, one of the 3 Eagles players. That's just one of those things, David. The 3 Trinity players went up for the ball, neither one collected it, and the 3 Eagles players waiting for it as it comes down.
Yeah, I think it's what's commonly known as no name on the ball. Really, there should have been a strong shout from at least one of those 3 players. Wakefield Trinity bounced the ball off the shoulder, I think it was, of Wilson, and the Sheffield player, Maguire, Mike, I think it was. Maguire was there on hand to put the ball down, and Whitfield in the right place. Points to the spot. Sheffield take the lead. 14 points to 11 with the kick to come.
Well, actually it was Broadbent. Maguire was there as well. Maguire could have scored, but Broadbent was the one that got his hand to it. So Ashton, with a straight kick almost, for a 5-point lead.
In the Challenge Cup tie, the 4th round tie, which Wakefield lost but contributed quite well. But he's had some sterling performances in the academy, and certainly some sterling performances in the Alliance League, and David Topless has rewarded him with some substitute spots this season.
Well, certainly a big fella. Good to see young players coming through. Mick Cook, hands on to Anthony Farrell. Anthony Farrell almost just stepped through, eventually gets a pass to Maguire. Maguire happy to drag the ball in. It wasn't the tidiest of passes. Powell turns the ball into Dale Lawton. Dale Lawton, again, just can't retain possession. Just perhaps showing that he's missing that first team representation when he hasn't had. He's been out for a couple of months. So Wakefield looking to get that ball over the halfway line, being under some pressure this last 10 minutes. 18 minutes gone. 16-11 the Eagles lead. Anlin onto Spencer. Flynn on a charge. Well tackled by Grimaldi. Paul just probing on that short side. Well handled by Fraze. Kept alive at acting half-back. Last tackle. Hanlon picks that off his toes. And the ball goes deep. Gamson plays that with his foot like a soccer player. And comes up with a good run in field. And eventually tackled by Forshaw. Richard Price will work this ball away, looking to Stott. Aston, long ball, working the ball out from the wrong quarter. Gamson again, comes off Powell. Only runs into that tackling machine, Nigel Bell. Broadbent gets some power into the game. So the Eagles will be kicking deep from this set by the looks of it. It's Aston. I'm sorry, it's Powell. He's eventually tackled by Nigel Bell again. Last tackle. Aston puts that into the corner, but it's taken by Paul, who drifts in field. And just while we've got a chance, David, just say congratulations to Mick Cook. It's his 200th game for the Eagles. That's 200 tough games that guy's played, because he never goes on the field without playing it really tough.
Well, congratulations, Mick, and I'm sure that you'll continue to perform for Sheffield in the near future, and perhaps go through to a well-deserved testimonial. Yes,
and if anybody deserves a testimonial, it's Mick Cook, in the same vein as Nigel Bell, who's enjoying his testimonial year at Wakefield. This is Paul again with that little toe through. Oh, and it almost came off that time for him. That's got to be a knock-on. Allen following through. Looked as though he may have capitalised on that mistake, but Mr. Whitfield ruling a knock-on. So the game very much alive, very much both teams Mr. Wakefield just not... I don't know what Mr. Wakefield's doing, talking at the scrummage for so long. In the meantime, Powell turns Price in, Aston to Powell. That looked like eye contact to me. Well, if that wasn't eye contact.
Yeah, took him a little bit high there, Andy Mason, but bundled him to the ground. I don't think Robin Whitfield saw it actually and just thought, oh, you know, let's get on with the game.
Well, if that wasn't obstruction again, Grimaldi there running into two tacklers. So, Eagles keeping the ball alive again, stop. Plays the ball forward and a penalty. Well, the linesman's on the field. Oh, well. That's bad. No, that's no good. That's no good. The linesman came on the field, seen an incident, and Mr. Whitfield sent him from the field.
Yeah, we'll call him a touch judge because I've had my fingers wrapped so many times for calling touch judges in rugby league linesmen. They say linesmen are in football, Michael. And so I'll call him the touch judge. He came on waving his flag. I feel personally that Stott was impeded by McDonald. I don't know whether it was a kick or a push or whatever, but certainly Stott was holding his leg. Now, I feel personally that Robin Wakefield should have gone over, spoke to his touch judge, see what he had to say, and then make the decision from there. However, he decided to turn him away, to the obvious dismay of the Sheffield Eagles supporters.
Lovely ball from Spencer, just dropped Andy Mason in, and Andy Mason in full flight, gets the ball off to Hanlon dummies, keeps alive again, finds Brown, Brown juggles, keeps the ball. Oh, it's basketball stuff, Hanlon again, tries a kick across, Sean Edwards, stop. Exceptionally good work, Linton Stott, and again he just took a knock on his ankle then. And you can see, I think that's remains of that knock he had before.
I certainly think it is, Mike, because he was certainly limping quite badly after the clash between McDonald. We don't know exactly what went off. It was quite fast then, so we'll have to have a check on the video later. But certainly did exceptional work there. But Wakefield threw it a ball about, as you say, basketball fashion. Brown threw the ball over his head, didn't really know who it was going to go to. Hanlon it was that picked it up. The ball was chipped across the line, and Stott picked it up and danced around two men before somebody just caught him on that sore spot there.
And outnumbered 5-1 there, Linton Stott, in that situation.
Yes, he did exceptionally well, the youngster.
So, Eagles rooking the ball away from their own line. 5-point lead. Will they move the ball in their own quarter as they did last time? Powell comes in and gives his forwards a lift, finds a hole. God, Grimaldi playing fingertip football. This is Mick Cook. Well, that's a good breakout from the Eagles. This time it's Richard Price who's seen a hole, accelerates into it. The Eagles have brought the ball 60 metres, last tackle. Ashton.
Strong.
Just too much weight on that, and it's just gone over the dead ball line. Durham hands one off to Wilson. Wilson's tackled by Aston. Forshaw. Oh, Brooks Maguire just drags him in. So 16 minutes of the game remaining. Hobbs is centred, passing. Maguire read it. He's trying to get a pass into Grimaldi. Good play, Paul Brown. He took Maguire upstairs and didn't allow the pass. Grimaldi has a tilt for the line. Well, a crucial stage of the game here. If the Eagles score at this situation, you can say the game's over. In the meantime, Powell holding the ball up for Aston. And the Eagles trying to keep the ball alive. No real direction in the movement. Just lost the way then, the Eagles.
Certainly was, but David Hobbs committed this Cardinals sin in rugby league, passed the ball with his back to the opposition. and it was Maguire that came into the line, and had it have been a centre, probably Price or Fraser, it could have been a try, but Wakefield Trinity now through Hanlon to McDonald's got some pace, this big lad can run.
Yes, certainly put his foot down then, and that's a penalty.
Well, the game's ebbing and flowing. It's end-to-end stuff, Mike. We said it were going to be close. You know, both sides are just contributing to a fine spectacle of rugby league here this afternoon. On a cold day, it's really warmed the fingers and the toes of the supporters.
Yes. Non-stop game, end-to-end. And Wakefield with a good chance. Hobbs makes a big charge to the line, loses the ball. And that'll be an Eagles scrum. Well, that's a let-off for the Eagles. David Fraser there, just making up for the penalty he gave away. Put a big shoulder on David Hobbs and dislodged the ball. Yes, Hobbs complaining quite vividly there to referee Robin Whitfield that he felt that he had the ball pulled from his grasp, but Robin Whitfield, however, says not to be, and Sheffield Eagles get their head and feet at this scrum. In the meantime, Tim Lump's taking the field. Has moved to scrum half and almost gives a try to Hanlon. What would the decision have been had he have taken that ball? Would referee Robin Whitfield have given an offside there? He was certainly up quick at acting out, but was he that quick here, Mike? Well, nobody really knows what Robin Whitfield would have given. He looked offside to me, but sometimes referee allow those plays to go on. In the meantime, Farrell steps, tries to find the hole. Tim Lum with the ability to break from midfield. Nowhere that forward pass. Some of the crowd shouting forward pass, but Dale Lawton played that behind him, and Mick Cook then. Mick Cook hadn't set his alarm clock. This is Astor, Darryl Powell. Again, the Eagles making good progress with the ball. Oh no, it stopped. Aston puts the ball high, under pressure, Henry Paul. Oh, well taken that young man. Excellent catch. Just took the ball, took the tackle. Slinton stop that's gone off. Fraser's gone on the wing. Powell's gone into the centre. Aston stand off and Lum's gone to scrum half. This is MacDonald. Big fella. Good tackle from Dale Lawton. Henry Paul now. Steps one, steps two. Just can't get away. Gets a good ball off to Flynn. Flynn looking for the hole. He's tackled by Lawton. Well, Wakefield's got to keep the ball moving. They're running out of time. Yeah. I would say there's about 10-12 minutes of the game remaining, but anything can happen, as we've already seen in this game. The match flowing from end to end, both sides playing some good football, and both sides not afraid to throw the ball about. There's been some fine breaks by Mason, and there's been some fine breaks by Darryl Powell and the likes of. So with about 12 minutes to go, everything can happen here at Wakefield Trinity, as Nigel Bell takes it up for the Dreadnoughts. Marlowe. Durham, sorry. Good tackle from Mick Cook underneath. Took it up in the process. Fuller feeds Flynn on a charge. Well, Wakefield pressing for these 2 championship points. The Eagles hanging on. Hanlon probes. Good tackle from Bruce Maguire that time, didn't let Hanlon get away. Mrs. Paul on the run round, nice little ball from Durham, toes it through. Oh, that's untidy work. Now it's play on. Davey shouting offside, but it was Fraser who played the ball in the first place. You can't put yourself offside, even a big fella like Fraser. Yeah, just got excited for a minute there, Mike. I thought another Sheffield Eagles man had touched the ball, but obviously not. And Sheffield, their line remains intact, but Henry Paul seems to be chipping through quite a lot and not getting anything for it, Mike. Well, It looked dodgy, did that one. Only a bounce away from a try. In the meantime, the Eagles again working the ball upfield. Good ball from Paul Broadbent. Well dragged in by Grimaldi. Good skills from those two guys. Both props combining well then. Tim Loam has a tilt. He's been out for a while, this Tim Loam with a cartilage problem. This is Anthony Farrell stepping. Last tackle. And again, the Eagles have brought the wall 60 metres from their own line. Tim Loam takes over the goal, over the kicking roll. Again, Paul under pressure. Oh, excellent play, class football. Nice step. Oh, and then a big shoulder again from Bruce Maguire. He keeps targeting Henry Paul's ribs.
Yeah, well, what it is, Henry Paul run across the field at pace, and as he steps, he's obviously no feet on the floor. So as he's running through, if Maguire hits him across the chest like he did earlier on, obviously he's got no stability, and obviously he's susceptible to getting put on his bottom, and it nearly happened there. A bit scrappy play from Sheffield, could have picked up possession there, Mike.
Yeah, Bruce Maguire just couldn't quite drag it in. So Durham working the ball away from acting half-back, puts an elbow into Grimaldi's face. Spencer gets the ball to Mason trying to work outside. Daniel Powell. This is Brown. Good work from David Plange. Fuller feeds Paul. Paul onto Hanlon. Hanlon just has a charge at the line. Hobbs turns the ball into Henry Paul again. Hanlon, that's looked like obstruction against the last tackle. What will Wakefield do? Hobbs kicks against the grain. It's an high one. We've seen some excellent play from both full-backs today.
Under the high ball especially, and both full-backs not been frightened to come up into the line and had some weight to the attack, and both Henry Paul and Gamson have had reasonable games this evening, although I must say Henry Paul's performance is a little bit, well, it's not a good performance from this lad, because normally he's in and amongst everything and making breaks, and Sheffield have closed him down quite well this afternoon.
So Tim Loam picking up, feeds Plange. Plange working his way infield. Last tackle. Aston going for the corner this time. Knows he's got the points. Looking for touch, and that's going to go in, is it? No. Paul Brown plays that one. And a good chase from Mark Aston and the Wakefield. We'll have to bring the ball deep from their own quarter. Henry Paul takes the first pass. Feeds Flynn. Flynn drifting outside, and that's not a good pass to Wilson, but Wilson makes something of it, gets the ball back to Paul. Well, Wakefield playing catch-up football here. Hanlon onto MacDonald. MacDonald gets one over to Forshaw. Excellent play, Wakefield Trinity. Outstanding football from Wakefield. It looked as though it had broken down that movement, but they kept the ball alive. Durham with a charge.
That's a better tackle.
And a good tackle from Mick Cook and Mark Aston. Well, top-class stuff from both teams. Every player on the field putting everything into it. Hanlon trying to play some fancy football. It ends up with Brown. Brown steps. Well, it's non-stop stuff, David. Hardly any time to have a breather. Spencer puts one over, takes it back, gets it to Flynn. Flynn throws it. Broadbent collects it in. Oh my word, it's non-stop stuff.
Well, it's on the fingertips. People who sat in the stand, they're on the edges of the seats, and people in the stands are falling all over each other to see the action here at Bellevue. Both sides contributing, and we keep saying it, to an absolutely superb game of rugby league football as Lawton gets Grimaldi away. But it's going to go right down to the final few seconds, Mike.
Certainly is. Tim Loam steps, holds onto the ball. And again, Broadbent makes a big run. Last tackle. Just 5 minutes of the game remaining, 5 points in it. The Eagles leading, and it's a long ball from Aston to Powell. Hands on to Plange. Plange, well, I don't know what David was thinking of there. Oh, he realised it was the last tackle. There was chance in his arm. So Wakefield will play the ball on the wrong quarter line. Paul plays the ball to Fuller. Fuller eventually tackled by Plange. I'm sorry, Hanlon. Keep mixing them up. This is Paul. That's a forward pass. Unlucky. Unlucky there from Paul. He was hanging the ball out like a washing line. He just had the ball at his fingertips, and as he span round in the tackle, the ball went forward.
It certainly did. He probably just delayed it that fraction, because Mason there on his inside could have gone away, and we all know too well that Andy Mason's got lots of pace, and it would have been very interesting to see whether or not Andy Mason would have gone the 60 or so metres to the line. But however, Sheffield Eagles have the head and feet at this scrum as Steve Durham goes off and Richard Goddard comes on.
So Goddard back on. Anthony Farrell steps, keeps alive, steps again, eventually tackled by Hanlon. Dale Broadbent with a big charge, gets to the 10-metre line. That's what I said. Oh, good ball from Broadbent to Maguire. Excellent play from the Eagles. Nice combination. This is Lum. Lum, long ball out to Fraze. Fraze going on the outside. He's keeping going. He's gone! The game's gone! That's it! That's 2 more championship points for the Eagles. I was just going to say, I didn't get a chance. They will also have to be very careful, because Fraser's a big, strong fella.
Yes, he took his try exceptionally well. It was a one-on-one situation. I think you would have really banked on the defensive qualities of Andy Wilson to put him to ground there. Andy Wilson, one of his major strengths is his defence, but all credit to David Fraze. Took Wilson on the outside, stopped, started, came back in, but just as Wilson, you thought that he was going to drag him into touch, the long reach of Fraze was just evident there, and he puts the ball over in the corner.
Whoever would have picked up the 2 points today, David, you have to say would have deserved them.
You certainly would. You can't. It's a shame that on a day like this that somebody has to lose. You know, both teams contributed very, very well, but it all goes down to whenever you get a chance to score, if you manage to put points on the board, then obviously you take the spoils at the end of the day. And even though that both teams have played exceptional rugby league this afternoon, Sheffield have made the best of the chances and taken the tries when they've arrived. So Mark Aston to put the Eagles. Points in front, and that definitely is the game. I can't see that Wakefield will come back and score 3 times. To be fair, Mike, I've not seen any evidence of any tiredness from the Wakefield ranks. They've performed very admirably. I don't think the Wigan game has done anything to hinder their performance. As Mick Cook picks that ball up exceptionally for Eagles, as Henry Paul tried to put the short kick in, but Sheffield Eagles have beat Wakefield Trinity this afternoon on pure football alone. Yes, both sides have certainly played well, and I have to agree with you, David. Wakefield haven't lost because they've been tired, or that Wednesday's game showed up in any way. They've been just as strong and as committed as the Eagles, especially in this last 20 minutes, because the Eagles have moved the ball about again with good vision. They've really tested the Wakefield defence, and apart from that mistake from well, you couldn't say a mistake from Andy Wilson, apart from that incident, and Tim Lum there just putting one drop goal over. He's a drop goal specialist, Joe, as we're waiting for the hooter. And you have to say that, you know, all credit to Wakefield, they certainly haven't looked any tighter than the Eagles. No, that's right, and long kick from Paul there to Farrell, but Wakefield Trinity then back down to earth after that crushing victory at Central Park when they defeated the champions. They've had to come down to earth here, but I must say, both sides contributed to a good game of football, but the best side on the day, certainly in these last 10 minutes or so, when Sheffield have thrown the ball out with gay abandon, you must say that Sheffield Eagles deserve to take the spoils.
So, well, again, misunderstanding. Well, here's a contradiction. The game's been stopped because a linesman from player right in the middle of the field has ruled a knock on. The Eagles have won that ball against the scrum. Point I'm trying to make is this: Mr. Whitfield has taken the linesman's call from way across the field when he's closer to the play. Yet earlier on, when the play was on the touchline and the linesman came on, Mr. Whitfield sent him off. Totally agree with you there, Mike. It's but having said that, Robin Whitfield may have seen the incident between McDonald and Stott. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see, but you know, it's one of those things. Yes, but Mr. Wakefield doesn't know what the linesman came on for, because he didn't discuss with him. It could have been something totally different that none of us had saw. Yes, and Gamson there, just while we're discussing, just a little chip through there, followed his own kick up and pulls Henry Paul with the ball over the dead ball line. So it's all Sheffield Eagles in this last 15 minutes, and it's a really shame for Wakefield Trinity, because I know all the directors and the coaching staff were hoping for a big crowd here this afternoon, and some of the people are going to go home and say that Wakefield Trinity have lost the game. But I can honestly say to the people, watch this video and just see how well the team have performed, and come and watch them and support them next week or whatever, because we certainly need your support. So Trinity driving Maguire back there, back over the quarter line, and we're well into stoppage time. Ashton will put a short ball in now. It floats, tries to float one out to Gamson. Price picks up, hands on to Plange. Plange toes one over the top. Hanlon doesn't drag it in, but Brown tidies up. This is Paul again, working his way away, off the line, and there goes a hooter, and the Eagles have picked up 2 valuable championship points to score 23 points to 11, and that's a bit of a mini revival for Wakefield, just altered there, and just keeps the pressure on for you, David, at the bottom of the table. It certainly does. 2 points, as you say, Mike, would have eased relegation problems for Wakefield Trinity. They would have definitely known that they were going to stay up. But now all things are in the balance. We don't know how Oldham have gone on this afternoon. But certainly Sheffield Eagles will come over to their supporters. They will take the plaudits from their supporters, and in fairness, they've thoroughly deserved their victory this afternoon. The last 20 minutes belonged totally to Sheffield Eagles. They took the tries well. Wakefield Trinity performed well, but at the end of the day, tries make points, and if you get more points the other side, you win the game. So it's back to the drawing board for Wakefield Trinity, and thanks very much to Mick McGowan for sharing the commentary with me this afternoon, and we'll see you all again shortly.